Everybody come and catch the show. You want dad jokes, they got plenty of those. So relax and listen on as Dev and Kyle start the apocalypse.
Yeah. There it is.
Oh,
I have heard that song probably 50 times, maybe 100 times by now. And I still jam. You see it every time we're on here. I'm just fingers in the air.
lip singing
Every time.
every time. Because that's what we do.
Oh, this is Dev and Kyle Start the Apocalypse, everybody. Just in case you didn't know what you were here for.
Again.
He's Dev. I'm Kyle. And we're two dads making a podcast.
That's the joke.
That's the joke. As always, if you can think of a worse reason to have a podcast, please email us at devandkylesta@gmail.com. How you doing tonight, Dev? It's late.
It is late on a Thursday. On a thirsty Thursday.
It's a school night.
It is.
We got to get this going. But we needed to have this episode because I needed to officially say to you, happy 1 year anniversary.
I thought you were going to say happy birthday. And I'm like, you already did that.
No, I did that. That was last episode. This episode, we've not had the show didn't launch. That'll be in for another 6 months, July-ish, June-ish. I'll figure that. I have a long time before we can.
No, it was May.
No, we'll settle that debate later. But the debate. We'll debase that debate later.
There's a real quick, easy way to figure that out. And you're right, it was June.
The thing that I know for certain is that we recorded our very first episode on June 9th, 2022.
You mean January?
January 9th.
Yes.
January 9th. I'll edit that out in post because we're professionals.
No, we're not.
January 9th, 2022. And here it is, January 9th, 2023, when we're recording. So congratulations, we made it.
Yeah. 3 days after the insurrection, 2 years after the insurrection. Something. Maths. We didn't cause that one.
We did not cause that one. That was around long before we were around. But I have thoroughly enjoyed making the show better with you over the last year.
Yeah, you certainly have made it better. I'm just bringing the quality down to an F level.
Nah. Like I've said many, many times, I have listened to the show with you on mute, and it is a worse show.
Well, yeah, then it's just you talking to yourself internally, which would be really creepy. Like, that'd be like me just listening to it on mute with you muted.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like just me hearing myself, which I do internally already.
Right.
It's annoying. And that sucks.
But we've talked about this, the different flavors of mental illness, the different flavors. I don't find myself annoying. Like when I talk to myself, I'm like, that guy's pretty intelligent.
See, I think I'm intelligent when I interact with other people that I'm like, oh yeah, you definitely are dumber than a box of rocks, which is like 50% of the people out there in the world that I interact with on a daily basis. Some of you know who you are.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Common refrain.
Yeah. But most of the time, at least when I'm by myself and I'm having an internal monologue going on, I'm like, you dumbass. What are you thinking? That was so stupid. And it could be about anything. It could be about what I'm currently doing. It could be something that I'm waxing philosophical on. That could be just a shower thought. It could be something from my past. It could be a future endeavor that I haven't gotten to yet, that I'm worrying about, like the kids turning 18 and going to college and going, wow, why haven't you started saving more than you already have? And that kind of thing. I don't think I'm that smart sometimes.
I have no idea why I just thought of this story, but you were just people who feel like they made a mistake. The most egregious public mistake and realization that I have ever, maybe not ever witnessed, but this is a real doozy. Okay. Walk you back to approximately 2008.
Was that Australian?
Is what Australian? Walk you back?
Yeah.
No.
Mate. Walk you back, mate.
No. Bungee smugglers? No.
Yeah. you been watching a lot of Bluey?
Bluey?
Yeah.
I don't know what Bluey is.
You don't know what Bluey is?
No.
Oh my gosh. It's the greatest cartoon out there for kids, but it's really meant for parents. But it's totally aimed at kids.
It's not Blue's Clues?
No, it's a dog. It's actually a family of dogs, the Healers, and they're Australian.
Okay.
And there's mom and dad and Bluey, the main character.
Bluey Healer. A little on the nose there, Australians.
And she's a little blue. She looks like her dad. Her dad's blue. His name is Bandit.
Okay.
And then the mom, Chili, looks like the youngest daughter, Bingo. And they're orange.
Oh, so it's like a mixed marriage.
But they're all the same breed. They're all healers. Because then there's like golden retrievers and there's poodles and wiener dogs. But they all are anamorphic, so they have human qualities and traits. And is all feel good stories. I get wrapped up. I watch them more attentively than the kids do. But sometimes I'll just start watching and be like, oh my God, I love this episode. And we'll get completely just zone out that I'm feeding one of the munchkins and be like, oh shit, I got milk all just coming down your face because I've been paying attention to Bluey.
Yep.
But Bandit is the greatest dad in the world. I aspire to be like Bandit. Bandit is like the epitome cartoon version of like my dad and my grandpa. And I'm like, yeah, I want to be like Bandit. Well, but without any negativity, no negative traits whatsoever. Although my grandpa didn't have any negative traits. My dad really doesn't either. Except for just, I don't like that he got on me and told me the truth and it hurt my feelings kind of thing.
Well, sure. That's what fathers are famous for.
True. But yeah, you should watch Bluey with your kids.
All right, I'll check out Bluey. But saying that you were way too into a show.
Yeah, hardcore into it. It's great. You got to watch it.
Okay. So the show that my children were into that I was forced to watch the most across all of them was the Curious George cartoon. Did you ever have to watch that one? It sort of had a moment and then it left.
No.
But it was like the main show that was on rotation, constantly on rotation in my house.
Did George not talk like in the books where it was just the man in the yellow hat?
He didn't. Just the man in the yellow hat talked and George just made monkey noises. And in every episode, for those of you who are unfamiliar with it, there would be some misunderstanding and George would be sort of a mischievous monkey. And, he'd have to do something. Okay. It's a kid's cartoon show. There's not a lot of thought that goes into it. But I had to watch this show. I've already talked about the fact that my son would get up ungodly hours and need to be watched. This was his favorite show when he was 18 months old. So we'd wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. He would have all of his needs met. Then it would just be sit on the couch. And if he was in a TV mood, watch some Curious George. So
The Curious Little Monkey.
I watched hours and hours of this show. I've probably seen every episode, probably more than once.
Owls and owls.
And when you say way too into it, I used to be able to recite to my wife all of the background lore that was creating itself in my head in order to make the show make sense. That the man in the yellow hat has a monkey, but that everyone's okay with the monkey. And that when the monkey's barely learning his letters and gets sent, or barely learning his numbers and gets sent to the donut shop, and he writes 100 dozen donuts because he learns the power of a zero in that episode, the donut lady just thinks he's good for it and sends 100 dozen donuts to the monkey's house. And then the monkey has to hide all the donuts so that he doesn't get in trouble from the man in the yellow hat. Okay. But why would the donut lady ever think that a monkey deserved 100 dozen donuts, right? That's hundreds, that's nearly $1,000 worth of donuts. The monkey didn't pay for the donuts. The monkey had no money. So why does everyone treat the monkey with respect? Why does everyone just give the monkey whatever he wants when he attempts to buy things? And the answer to this question has to be that the man in the yellow hat is a deeply descended philanthropist from generations and generations of old money. And that's the same reason why he gets carte blanche access to the museum, because his name is probably on that wing of the museum. And the bakery donut lady is like, I don't want to piss off the eccentric rich guy who keeps a monkey. The monkey comes down here, wants some donuts. We give the monkey donuts.
Or maybe there is a darker side to George that we don't see.
No.
And he attacks people like monkeys are apt to do and rip faces off. And it's fear. That's the reason he gets by with it. It's not respect. It's not, we just have to do this because of Mr. Philanthropy over here.
But why would they take the monkey if they were afraid of the monkey? Why would they take the monkey into space? They would not. They would leave the Earth. They would leave the monkey earthbound, because a dangerous face ripping monkey in space, that's a problem.
Because maybe they were like, if we don't take him up there, there's going to be more faces ripped off than if we take him. You're
saying like an Event Horizon type situation where everyone on the ship dies, but at least
we've sent monkey.
But yeah. At least we've sent it into deep space.
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Maybe they were sending him to space in hopes that he would rip everyone's face off aboard the space station or whatever ship that he was on, and he would not come back.
The monkey appears to be far more interested in pleasing people on screen, to have it not be canonically inconsistent for him to be face ripping off screen. You know what I mean? Like, the man in the yellow hat acts like a rich person on screen, just walking around, being oblivious to whatever is going on, just expecting that people will do things, that people will accommodate him and his monkey. Like, that's what rich people do. So it's sort of in character for him to be astronomically rich. At no point do we even see the monkey sort of lick his lips in the general direction of a face. So it seems like a stretch that all of the violence happens off screen and none of the violence happens on screen. But, you know, maybe we can have the head writer on the show, on our show sometime.
And why does the man in the yellow hat have to have this Pharrell-looking hat?
Because he's a rich motherfucker who doesn't care. I think this is, I'm establishing this consistency that is a through line through everything. It just explains everything about.
I mean, he's got at least 4 or 5 yellow outfits that he wears in rotation, because they're always clean and pressed.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going around wearing stinky old yellow outfits, and he's probably got 5 or 6 yellow hats too.
No, he does. There are more than one episode where his closet is shown on screen, and his closet it's not re-wearing the same outfit. His closet is filled. He's got a shtick. He's got the same outfit, and he has multiple hats to make sure that everything is fine. I'm telling you, like, everything about the way that he behaves is consistent with a man who is the beneficiary of his great-great-great-grandfather's $1 billion.
He's living a minor autistic dream that I have of having multiples of the same outfit that you love, so you don't have to worry about wearing it, getting it dirty, and then washing it, degrading it when you wash it, and then having to wait a couple of days to wear it again. It's just you got a rotation. So it's like, if I mess one outfit up, I've got 5, 6 backups of the same outfit.
I haven't stuck with it per se, but one of the things I did as soon as I became an all Zoom, all the time worker is I just went and I bought 5 identical black t-shirts that are incredibly comfortable and incredibly soft and just look like a black t-shirt. And I'm telling you, Zoom workers of the world, just pick your favorite color and just rotate that shit, or have the same color. And that way, you know, I'm not a coal miner. If I wear the same shirt 2 days in a row, nobody notices. And especially if it's exactly the same shirt, no one knows. And that's a secret to keeping a little bit of sanity. Well, I say keeping a little bit of sanity, but it might not actually help me tell the difference between Tuesday and Wednesday. So maybe it's contributing a little bit to the downfall of my sanity for just having the same, you know, Groundhog Day type corporate existence now.
I get it. I like uniformity to a degree. I don't want to wear like I don't like wearing a uniform per se for like work. That kind of thing bugs me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I want a little bit of variety, but I like having like 3 or 4 outfits that I love and just rotating through those to where if I had 4 or 5 of the same outfit of it and had like a pattern of, all right, Mondays I always wear this outfit, Tuesdays I wear this outfit, Wednesdays I wear this outfit, and I never have to wear the same version of that outfit in a month. That would be like perfect.
So just Steve Jobs, but you have 30 turtlenecks?
Yeah, like 30 Blackhawks sweaters and 30 pairs of Nike pants in different colors.
And then you'd have to have 30 right socks and 30 left socks. You wouldn't just be comfortable having 60 generic socks.
No, I need more socks too. It's funny you mentioned that because I need to buy new socks.
Oh,
I've been losing my socks. I need to go in and do a deep rescue dive in the dryer to find all my missing socks.
Do you actually think that your socks are in your dryer? I have never.
I know for a fact. I know for a fact they are. For a fact.
How
did you know that in most dryers there's probably? I mean, you could go right now and take the drum of your dryer out.
No, I can't.
And there would be probably 10 socks in there at least. At least.
I am incapable of this. And first and second of all, not only do I believe that I'm personally incapable of removing the drum of my dryer, but if it took more than 30 seconds to put it back together, that would be the end of my marriage. The idea that my wife would think that I should take apart a perfectly functional appliance that is key to our happiness, that we have a reliable washing machine and a reliable dryer, and that I might fuck with that, a recipe for divorce. Dumbest thing I've ever heard you say to suggest that I should do that.
Oh, you should do it. You know what? I'm going to attempt to recover socks this weekend, and then I'm going to report back and let you know.
Do it.
I will video record it. I will put it in for the annals of history.
Going in where?
Me going in on a search and rescue mission into the dryer drum, or out around the dryer drum, I guess.
So it'll be like a Narnia type situation.
Yeah, maybe I'm going to find another dimension in there.
Yeah. You know, the easiest way to keep all of your socks together
is put them in like a mesh baggie that you zip up.
Oh, no, I was going to say just like wash them and then just leave them in the clean bin and don't wear them. That's the easiest way to keep them.
Go sockless.
Just go barefoot. Just go barefoot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. On multiple reasons, but I can't do that. My feet get stink. If I put my feet in shoes without socks, it gets rank.
Ugh, gross. Don't put your sockless feet in your shoes. Don't do that. That's gross too. Don't put anything on your feet. Just be barefoot.
No,
let your soul connect you.
Let your soul glow.
Soul glow.
Can't do that.
Exactly.
Can't do it. I tried. Can't do it. Wearing my new Joe Burrow slippers right now.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. They're actually not Joe Burrow.
What is a Joe Burrow slipper?
I got slippers for Christmas. I got new Nike slippers.
Okay.
That are the most comfortable, toastiest, but also most breathable. Like my feet don't sweat in these at all, which is amazing, especially for as toasty as my feet get. They've got neoprene and some kind of memory foam in it. But on the bottom of it, on the sole, it says Burrow, Burrow, like Joe Burrow. And I believe he is a Nike athlete, has a contract with them for promos and such.
Oh.
But I don't think it is a Joe Burrow slipper. I think it's just like burrow yourself in a hole and get comfy with these slippers kind of thing.
Oh, that's some sneaky shit on behalf of Nike.
But I call them the Joe Burrow slippers because Joe Burrow's nickname is Joe Burr. And I wear these to keep my feet from being burr cold. And they're called Burrow. So
what sport does he play?
Foosball. He's the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. Bungles.
For the Bengals?
The Who Day. That team that's up the road from me, about an hour away.
Is that the Louisville hometown team?
Louisville doesn't have a hometown football team.
I understand that there's not a football team in Kentucky. That's why I'm saying, is the proximity to Louisville mean that you stretch? Like they have the Carolina Panthers who don't even pick a state to belong in.
Because they're in Charlotte, which is like borderline. Charlotte is one of those weird cities. It's not technically like right on the border, but it's close enough to the border of South Carolina that for some reason South Carolina also claims Charlotte. I don't know the history. Maybe at one point it was part of South Carolina. I don't know. But Charlotte and Carolina Panthers, that's a whole nother bag of worms. But no, the Bengals aren't the hometown team. Because we are in such close proximity to Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Nashville. Technically, you can throw Chicago in there. It's a 5-hour drive. It's pretty close. St. Louis, 5-hour drive. Pittsburgh, about a 5.5, 6-hour drive. Cleveland, same thing. Like all these major cities are right here around us. Kansas City is about 6 hours.
Wow.
So there's all these professional sports teams that we're kind of smack dab in the middle of.
You just take your pick.
Exactly. You're within an hour to 6-hour drive. You can drive to any of these places in a day, go see a game, and come home if you wanted to.
That is the opposite of folks who live in Los Angeles, where they have 6 or 7 sports teams in Los Angeles. And still many people who live inside the city of Los Angeles are not within a 7-hour drive of where they play.
Yeah, sadly. It's funny because it's true.
There's no such thing. I think I've talked about this. There's no such thing as traffic in Phoenix, like real big city congestion traffic, because the roads are done very well. And you can always tell when someone is from Phoenix when they're like, traffic was so bad today. It took 45 minutes instead of 30 minutes to get here. But they traveled 35 miles in 30 minutes most days. And then today it was 45 minutes, and that's enough for them to bitch because they got to go the whole way 75 miles an hour without even seeing a taillight.
Yeah, that's kind of our bitching about traffic here. It's like, oh, this drive usually takes me 10, 15 minutes. And today it took me 30. But I can get to almost anywhere in the city in about 10 to 15 minutes. It was like, oh, it took me 45 minutes to get here, and it usually takes me 10. Traffic was awful. Okay, you're starting to get in borderline of that was kind of bad. But doubling it when it on average 10 to 15 minutes, you can get literally anywhere in this city, and people bitch.
Well, I mean, it's sort of a different ballpark, though, because you're in like a small town. I'm talking about Phoenix, which is like a big city, though.
I mean, our city is the entire, what's the word I'm looking for? I completely just drew a mind blank. It encompasses an entire county. That's what I was trying to say.
Sure. It's because you got tiny counties.
We have 120.
What the fuck for?
That's a lot. Yeah. I don't know what the square miles of our county is. I'd have to Google that. I would have to guess, probably, I don't know, 200 square miles? No, that's probably off.
Do you think that's off high or off low?
Off low, I would say.
Ooh. You got to Google all this shit. I'm not going to do it.
I would think I'd double that. I'd say 400 square miles.
My kids were like looking at a map the other day and noticing that like the East Coast states are small and the West Coast states are large. Just noticing that disparity and how there's just sort of a gradient as it goes across. And they're like, Dad, why is that? And I was like, because people fucking got lazy. When they started out, it was real hard in 1650 to go from here to here to here to here to here. Got to the 200 years later, and they sent everybody who lived there out to go stake out a claim. And they didn't have time to do 120 counties in Arizona. Arizona is, rough estimate looking at that map, Arizona is 4 times the size of Kentucky. There's 13 whole counties. That's it. That's all we got. They don't have time to subdivide anything.
Yeah, you think it's how many How many times larger than Kentucky?
Yeah, I said 4 to 5, just looking at a map.
4 to 5?
I just figure you can stack the chicken 5 times, and they look roughly the same width.
It's about 3 times larger.
3 times larger. Okay.
And the square miles of Jefferson County, which is Louisville Metro, is 398 miles. Phoenix is 517.
The city, yeah.
Yeah.
And is that Phoenix or Phoenix Metro?
The seat of Maricopa County.
That's the
So I
city.
guess the whole.
So there's Phoenix, and then there are 11 cities that surround Phoenix on all sides, where there's no indication that you've left one city to go to the next.
9,224 square miles for the county. So yeah.
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 That's where we all live.
But that's 517 of the metro area.
No. Is it 517 is the metro area?
Phoenix, I guess Phoenix proper. I don't know. It's not really telling me.
Yeah.
Phoenix metro is 19% above Seattle's metro area in population. Okay, I don't care about that. I'm asking for freaking Phoenix metro is 14,598 square miles.
There you go. That sounds right. That's 11 cities that all touch each other.
That's bigger than the county. That encompasses multiple counties, 2 counties.
It stretches down now into what's called Pinal County to the south.
Yeah. So there's 2 counties that make up Metro Phoenix, where technically we're one.
The only reason it's going to hit the border to the south is because it will soon legitimately just run into the Tucson metro area, and the two will just be fighting over the border of that.
The Tucson.
Tucson. Come on.
The Tuxedo Suns.
Don't be the guy who says that they're going to play the Super Bowl in Tempe. Don't do that. Tempe. Here's a Super Bowl 52. Here's a lesson for everybody. Is in Tempe. That's where it is. Anybody who says it different.
It's in Phoenix.
No, it's in Tempe. No, sorry. You're right. The new stadium is officially in Phoenix. I apologize. Super Bowl 30 was in Tempe, which is where the old stadium was, which is part of the Phoenix metro area, which is why the Cardinals used to have people go to their games all the time because it was right next to the university. But nobody wants to make the drive all the way out. No, it's not in Phoenix. That's in Glendale.
Isn't that the same thing?
Well, that's what I'm talking about, the metro area. They're all these different cities. That stadium.
I always assumed it was Phoenix.
No, it's in Glendale, Arizona, which is a city directly adjacent to Phoenix. Lots of people think it's, right there. This is riveting city geography, I'm sure, for all the listeners today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like in Dallas, where Arlington is where the Cowboys are, which is not part of Dallas-Fort Worth. You got Dallas-Fort Worth, and you got Dallas, and then you got Arlington, part of Dallas-Fort Worth.
Were they forced to rename that portion of Dallas to Arlington because the Cowboys are just fucking killing you every year?
That would make sense.
They had to name it after the cemetery, just in good conscience. How are they doing this year? Did they make the playoffs?
They only made the playoffs.
Okay. Well, it's the wild card's coming up this week, right? They have to play in the wild card.
We play on Monday, yeah, against Tom Terrific and the Buccaneers.
Cheap way to buy corn.
The cheap way to get your ears pierced too.
Buccaneer.
Well,
speaking of Seattle, I never told my story of the greatest fuck up I ever witnessed in person.
Oh yeah, we got to come back. We're just a long journey to get here.
If you did not expect us to double back to the first story at the 30-minute mark, email us at devandkylesta@gmail.com.
What was the Australian comment that got us off the track there?
I think it was bungee smugglers.
But you were take a step, something.
No. They said walking it back, and you
walk it back. Yeah, walk it back. And I was like, oh, what?
Come on, we're here now. Okay,
bungee smuggling. Got it.
2008. There's no such thing as Precheck yet. I'm in an airport. There's no such thing as all the quick ways to get through security, right? 2001, September 11th happened. Security got real crazy. None of the quick ways to get through security have been invented for business travelers yet. And so people who fly all the time were still subjected to the indignation of crotch searches, and the TSA was really just hitting its stride of really abusing people. And so everyone was having a real bad time when they would come through security, and everything was out of your pockets. Everything was out, like just out. And this person is clearly in a rush, single guy traveling alone, probably for business. I don't know. He's got his laptop bag, looks like business. He's putting everything back in his pockets, and he takes off because he's clearly in some sort of a rush because he's been hung up because somebody noticed that he was wearing a belt, and that was a national emergency in 2008. And he takes, maybe it's not 2008, but it's plus or minus a couple of years, because he's got an all glass iPhone. So there's no keyboard on his phone. So however long it takes for that to be the phone of choice, he picks that phone up, and he's already walking. That's the last thing he's got to scoop up off the tray. He grabs his phone, and he's already in motion. And he wants to put his phone. This is theater of the mind for everybody because I can't really tell this story. He wants to put his phone into his right front pocket of his jeans. Okay? That's where the phone wants to go. So everybody follow along with the phone.
Wants to go. The phone was like, put me in your right front pocket.
I want to be in your right front pocket. So he gets the phone, but he's already walking, and he's mid-stride, and his left leg is forward as he's attempting to put the phone into his right front pocket. So if you play along with me, if you're driving and listening to the show, don't stand up. That would be very dangerous. But if you happen to be at home, stand up and work this out for me. And then, in the comments, you can let people know that this logistically does work out. His left leg is forward and his right leg is back while he's mid-stride. And he goes to put the phone in his right front pocket, but he misses the pocket. And so the phone just slides down his right thigh, just kind of rides his denim down the leg and just bounces. And all it does is bounce on the corner. And in my memory now, still today, I can pull this back out of my memory and rewind it like Minority Report. Like I can grab it. I watched every moment of this happen. And it is so indelibly seared into my consciousness. I know this. I can watch it just like all of the births of my children, like just right there. Just grab that memory, and I can just see it from every angle. It's right there. The phone slides down the front of his leg, and it lands directly on a corner. Just pop, and it's probably not that big of a deal because it lands right on a corner, and those old phones were thick, and those edges were metal. There wasn't the glass screen. Unknown how much damage was done by that first impact, but it bounced. And that's very important to this story, is that it bounced, because it bounced up just an inch, just enough, just a football tee, that we're foreshadowing, a football tee's worth of bounce. And the reason why it was important to me that everyone understood that he was walking is that he didn't immediately recognize that he missed his pocket. And he took one more step. And when he took that step, he was bringing his right leg forward, and his phone had just bounced football tee height off the ground.
And it's good.
His natural gait just kicks this phone perfectly. Directly in the back. And like I said, I'm still, right now, while I'm telling you this story, I'm watching it happen with my eyes closed. It just bounced, and he kicked it right in the phone. And the phone flies forward no more than 3 feet, because there's a giant load-bearing column directly outside security. And he puts that phone at full. And he's in a hurry, remember, right? So he's walking at double speed. His foot comes forward, hits that phone. That phone goes flat screened, whack, right into the column.
He kicked it like Messi.
Absolutely. No, he kicked it very, very clean. Not messy at all. Just clean.
I'll say like Leo Messi.
I don't think so. I think very clean is what I'm saying. Not very messy. Right into the wall.
The dad jokes never end here, folks. They never end.
When we run out of dad jokes, we will officially stop the show.
He was Mbappe in it.
No. This isn't a water damage joke. He wasn't mopping it. This is just impact, right? Clean.
I can't wait for our next sports guest to come on and just completely berate us over this episode. Right?
It'll be the first sports guest whose show I'm not done editing yet, and she'll want to come back for a rematch after this segment. So the phone whack right into the column, and it just kind of teeters back on its edge. And I can see, unless two people behind him in security. So like I'm just clearing security as well, watching this happen. And again, in my memory bank, it takes 15, 20 minutes for this to happen. It's only 3 strides, right? It happened in real time. It's slip, boom, drop, kick, damn. In my mind, like I can watch it anytime I want to. And he walks over to his phone and it has turned from a black mirror into just a white, dusty front. I can see it. It's just cracked and smashed. 55 cracks across the front of it, more. And he picks it up, and I'm close enough to just hear him go, fuck. And he puts it this time actually into his pocket and just keeps walking. Like he's just resigned to the defeatism of the situation. He's past security. He's got somewhere to be. He's done. But it just whack. That sound that phone made hitting that column with a 3-foot punt will live with me till the day I die.
Like a slap smack and a crack crunkle all.
Oh, every single sound you can possibly imagine is still not as good.
I felt like I watched it because I have done similar things. I haven't broken a screen that way, but I have dropped it and not kicked it into a column or anything, but I've dropped it and kicked it, and then it like flipped, and I've tried to do the hand over or head over fist kind of thing, just grabbing for it and flailing aimlessly and not grabbing it, and then it land smack face down perfectly flat on the tile, which does not mix well with phone screens. And then when you pick it up, it's just going to be spider web of hell. A few times.
Have you ever had, and it happens more and more these days, shout out to people who make phones. It happens more and more. Have you ever had it happen recently that you think, like you just dropped the fuck out of your phone and you think, well, that's it. I need a new phone. And it's laying face down. And when you pick it up, it's fine. And what is that moment of relief? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, that moment of relief is a top 5 moment every time you fumble it and then you pick it up and you're like, oh shit, my day and my life is not ruined.
Well, I keep an OtterBox on my phone.
Oh, you're one of those.
And my previous phone, I had an OtterBox on it, and I dropped it, and it landed just right, from just the right height, flush, face down, and it caused some kind of suction to where it looked like somebody had taken a nail and just tried to drive it right in the center, and then this perfect just crack out from the center.
OtterBox, if you want to sponsor the show, that's Dev and Kyle, sta@gmail.com. You were saying your OtterBox worked great.
Yeah, this one works great. That last one did not work great. It created a suction perfectly to where it shattered the screen. Nothing actually hit the screen itself, but it had such a good seal around the screen, and it landed just right. It just sucked. I don't know how, from a physics standpoint, it did it. It makes sense in my head. I've seen similar things happen with other glass and plastic, like dropping it just right, and you're like, there's no way that should have broken, but it creates a suction where it.
I do think zoologically that the seal is the number one enemy of the OtterBox. So
this is true. It was a good seal gone bad. But I've had the same thing happen with this OtterBox, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be the one where it happened to go just like that last one, and I'm going to flip this bad boy over, and it's going to be done. And nope, no issue whatsoever. I've dropped it. I have dropped this thing from about 15 feet onto concrete and watched it tumble and went, yep, that's the end of it. It's done. and it still works fine.
What the fuck are you doing wrong in your life that you are 15 feet above concrete trying to take a phone call?
It wasn't taking a phone call. It was trying to take a picture.
Trying to text people? I'm just doing a little roofing today. Woo!
Actually, that's what happened.
I fucking called it. See, that's why I don't go roofing.
I was trying to take a picture while I was on top of a roof, and it slipped out of my hands and hit the roof, and I didn't want to lean over too far, even though I had my ladder tied up with bungees onto the gutter. So I just let it go and watched it and went, dun, 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 and I'm like, yeah, it's done. No, it was fine.
You need bungee smugglers for your phone.
Bungee smugglers for your phone.
That's how you get them to work.
That's how I smuggle my bungees around my phone.
That's how you smoke your bungees?
Smuggle my bungees.
Oh.
Smoked my bungees. I'm not smoking any bungees.
You should try it.
I'm not even sure if I know what the terminology of bungee smugglers are, like banana hammocks, right?
I don't know. I think so.
I thought so. That was the connotation I understood it as.
You'd have to ask an Australian.
Is it bungee or budgie?
Could be either.
I thought it was like banana hammocks, but I might be wrong.
This show's about kids' shows. So my kids grew up. They got a little bit older than Curious George. So now they watch this Australian show on Netflix. It's a good show. It's called The Investigators because they're the best investigators. You get it? You see, it's the best joke that Australians can come up with. But the entire time I'm watching the show with them, all the character names, the one main character, I believe that her name is Morty the whole time. Morty. Who cares? Kids these days, my kids go to school with a kid named Walnut. Who knows? Parents will name their kids anything. A girl named Morty, not even the weirdest thing I've seen that week. So, 2 seasons we're watching this show. Her name's Morty. Morty. Blows my fucking mind when, during the 2nd season, we get to her, it's a TV show about kids. Eventually, you have the birthday episode for the kid. And on screen appears the child's birthday card. And her name, in big letters, is spelled in crayon. M-A-U-D-E.
Morty.
Maud is the girl's
Maud?
name. Yeah. Or Maudie.
Maudie.
Okay. But the Australians are just putting extra fucking R's in there. Even the children have an excess of R's and have been calling her Morty.
What are they, JFK?
Yeah. No. Bostonians and Australians are both known for, as we learned during the live show, penal hijinks and the same general accent. You didn't know that?
I did not. I guess that would explain why there's so many criminals in Boston.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Australia and Boston were 2 original British penal colonies. I think it
makes sense.
I think that's how it all shook out.
Sorry, Boston, I love you. Sorry, Aussies, I love you too. It's just, this is historical facts. Don't be mad at me.
Send your hate mail to Dev at devn, the letter N, Kyle, STA, at gmail.com.
No, send your hate mail to the fucking royal family.
I didn't do it to him.
Couple hundred years ago. Don't be mad at us.
Speaking of criminals.
Yeah. Joke time.
Please laugh.
Or don't. If you don't have to. You'll feel better if you do.
We've been at this for 45 minutes. Please laugh.
I don't know how to.
Guy's walking down the street. He sees a sign in the front yard. It says talking dog for sale. So he's like, holy shit, really? So he walks up, knocks on the door, lets him in, and the dog opens the door. And he looks down, and the dog's like, can I help you? Just talks to him. He's like, yeah, I see a talking dog for sale. Like that, clearly that's you. Like, is your owner here? And the dog like rolls his eyes and walks in, and the guy meets the owner, And he's talking to the guy and talking to the dog, and he turns to the dog and he's like, so like how'd you end up here? And the dog just sort of like sits back, just kind of takes this, I've led a very full life. I've lived in the Alps rescuing avalanche victims, and then I served my country in Iraq and Afghanistan. And now I just spend my days reading to his mom in the retirement home and all of the retirees that are there. That brings me a lot of joy now. And the guy is just fucking flabbergasted. Like, holy shit. And he turns to the owner and he's like, why on earth would you want to get rid of an incredible dog like this? And the guy looks him right in the face and he goes, because he's a liar. He has not done any of that.
That's it. He's just because he's a fucking liar.
Yeah, what would you want to live with somebody who was always telling stories like that? No, you would not.
Yeah, if it was my dog, I'd be like, yeah, that's my boy. I would be, if my dog was telling lies like that, I would be doubling down with it. I would also be telling the kids, do not lie like Hawk does. He's a bad boy, but it's funny.
But we get girls.
No, I don't get girls. No,
Hawk does.
Oh, Hawk gets all the bitches.
Mm-hmm.
Literal bitches. Female dogs.
Pulling it out like, oh.
Exactly. Like that. Just like that. I'm a good person. I promise.
I know.
I will prove. I came across something, and I fully believe, and I already believed this theory, but then I've never expressed it or put it into a full form theory. And it's the shopping cart theory.
The shopping cart theory? Shopping carts aren't a theory, Dev. They're real. I've pushed one today.
Well, yeah, but it's the shopping cart theory is a way to gauge if someone is truly a good person that has self-regulation and does things out of the kindness of their heart because it's the right thing to do versus someone that's just a total piece of shit, worthless human being. And the theory goes that if you use a shopping cart,
mm-hmm.
you return the shopping cart to the shopping cart corral or back into the store where the shopping carts.
Back into the store? Who the fuck is going back into the store?
If there's no corral and it's a small parking lot and it's like a small little store.
Never happened.
Those situations exist. But chances are 99% of the time, if you're using a shopping cart, there's going to be shopping cart corrals scattered throughout the entire parking lot within a 10, 15 foot walk, usually on average, to get from your car, wherever your car is parked, to the closest corral. Usually, you've got two corrals within equidistant that you can choose from. So it's super easy. So if you choose, and there is a few exceptions to the rule, but they are so rare, and I would say happen less than a fraction of a percent of the time, to where it's a true emergency where you got to get the hell out of there, and you don't have those 30 seconds to return the cart back to the corral,
mm-hmm.
as you should, then you are a piece of shit if you leave your cart out. Even if you take it and you put it up on the embankment or the curb to where it's not in a parking spot, or you see that other people have put them over into a parking spot, but it's not a corral, and you just push it over there,
mm-hmm.
you are a piece of shit if you do not take your cart back. So
I've heard this theory expressed before. I'm really glad that you brought it up, because I have a very, very contrarian view to this idea. I was thinking that we were almost done, that I had run the joke time late in the show. I don't think so. I think that we may fight about this for the next 2.5 hours.
Oh, dear God. Are you one of the pieces of shit?
I'm not one of the pieces of shit, because I understand the underlying base idea that people are going for when they say you should return your cart to the corral and put it perfectly where it belongs. I get it. Carts bang into other cars, and that causes a minute amount of damage, and that's a problem. And so if you leave your cart freewheeling, or if you leave your cart blocking a very good parking spot, right? If you're in the first 5 parking spots and then the one that was next to you was open at the time that you returned to your car and you blocked it, that's kind of a dick maneuver. Okay. All of those parts are true. But you didn't say that I had to just make sure that it wasn't causing an inconvenience. You said I have to put it back in the cart corral. And you, by demanding that of me, are making sure that the corporations, and let's be clear, no mom and pop store has a shopping cart. It's all corporations. That the corporations are able to extract maximum value out of the employees that they subjugate to go and get those carts and return them in the door. And I know this because I was previously, we've talked about this, a professional cart getter in my days. Going and getting shopping carts and having to walk around and get one at a time and put them together is the only break that you get from a store filled with fucking Karens. That's it. And the idea that you would have the shadow workforce of unpaid labor to collect up all those carts and put them in that little corral and make sure that they're all perfectly set for that person to go out and not have any free time to themselves and not be out from underneath the thumb of their controlling manager to just walk out to one of those cart corrals, get the 10 carts, turn them around, push them in. I expect you to be back inside, under 6 minutes. That's what you're demanding of everyone.
No, I agree. That may have been the case 15, 20 years ago. But
they just teleport inside now?
Well, no. Now they have the new cart wheeler things that are the automated where they can just go and hook it up and then it'll push the big row of carts for them super easy.
Yep. That's just the robots stealing our jobs.
At Target, the guys and girls that are on the cart duty, that is all they're doing. They're not interact. So when they don't have to go and chase down the carts,
no, that's false.
They'll just go in and get them in, and they bring them in, and then they chill.
That is not true. That cannot possibly be what Target expects from them. I guarantee you that nobody working at a Target gets to just, well, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean, is being said by every motherfucker in every Target managerial capacity everywhere.
Or they're lot managers. That's their responsibility. So maybe they would, you're probably right. They'd probably find an extra thing for them to do if everybody was always bringing their carts back to the corral. They'd probably be like, all right, well, after you've got done with that, then you can do this task. I watched a guy the other day and I asked him if he enjoyed doing, because I've read this thing on Reddit a couple of days ago, and then I've been waiting to spring the theory on you.
Arrogate somebody who's just minding their own business, working a job that they don't like, and jumps out of the shadows to interrogate them.
I went to Target and the guy was bringing the carts in and he was super jovial and was joking around with his buddies. And he gave me the "have a great night, sir. I hope you enjoyed" kind of thing as you're walking out.
He lied to you.
I was like, hey, I've seen that you guys have these new fangled cart contraption things. And he was like, yeah, it's freaking awesome. It makes it so super easy to get these in here. I was like, so when you're out there doing that, if all the carts are back in the corral and you don't have to go and chase them down, he goes, oh, I love it. Because then I can just get to hang out and wait. And then once it's full, I just go and get them instead of having to go around and chase them and then bring them back and then load them in. He's like, it is great when it's cold outside. So based on it could be anecdotal. It could have just been this one guy.
I guess.
If there's no carts to go chase down, that's more free time that he gets to goof around because he's on cart duty.
I guess. All I know is that when I was in charge of carts, we had cart duty, and it was 30 minutes to yourself to not have anybody telling you what to do and bring them in. And if somebody walked outside and noticed that there weren't that many carts outside, they would just bring you in short of your 30 minutes and let your shift go undone for the second half of its shift, because it wasn't going to get that bad before the next shift started, and that person could just get them all. That's how that's how it was done where I was.
Back in my day.
But this is pre-robot. I will say it is pre-robot. We weren't trained in the use of a fleet of cart returning robots.
And I think they monitor too the pickups. So if there's cars coming in and parking there, they kind of give a heads up of, hey, there's people here for the drive up curbside delivery crap.
Yeah, we didn't have that either.
Yeah, so there's new.
Back in my day, people had to actually shop in the store.
Which is, I like it and I hate it, because I have been in there shopping and listened to the conversations of Target workers and Kroger workers that are doing the picking, and they hate it. And then so half the time you get your order and there's things they substitute, and 9 times out of 10, something they substituted is nowhere near the equivalent of what you actually ordered. Like we got one time, we'd gotten those Sargento snacks with the little cubes of cheese and either nuts or berries or something with it.
Did you get sardines instead of Sargento? That would be alphabetically like right above it. That's what I would give you.
Instead of giving us because they were out of the kind that we wanted. We wanted the Colby Jack and cheddar with I think it's raisins and peanuts. They were out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So they thought that a good substitute would be Sun-Made Raisinets.
Well, I mean, they're 1/4 correct. You wanted raisins, they got you raisins.
I get it, but I don't.
You could have instead gotten Planters mixed nuts.
Or cheese. Cheese is the primary food staple in those packs. There's more cheese than anything else. It's Sargento, which is a cheese company.
Oh, that's true. We should reach out. Sargento, if you'd like to sponsor the show, that's Dev and Kyle, sta@gmail.com. There's more cheese in this show than anything else.
We sure know how to cut the cheese, too.
What I think we don't know how to do is cut ourselves off.
No, we don't. We could, you know what? That actually brings up a good, I mean, I'm going to keep going here, but
yeah,
that brings up a very good possible show idea for us, is a 12-hour live show.
What the fuck?
With like breaks in between.
Yeah, like 24-hour breaks between each hour. What the fuck?
Yeah.
How are we gonna go for 12 hours in one day?
We bring on guests and we have little segments with
like
the
a
guests.
Telethon? You have like Jerry Lewis envy?
Yes, we're gonna do a telethon.
Someday we'll do a telethon.
We'll do a telethon with like a donation behind it, and half of the donation
that'll be great.
Will go between to us and the production company aspects of the company, and then the other half will go to an actual charity.
Sure, I love it. Something for charity. I could do a 2-hour show if it was for charity, but
with 10 extra hours on there.
I'm at the end of my rope on this hour, Dev.
That makes 2 of us.
I gotta tell you, it's 2:00 in the morning. The kids have been asleep the whole time, thankfully. And we have been able to put out, again, happy anniversary, Dev.
Happy anniversary. And it's close to that time for anniversary celebrations of another kind from your heart. Valentine's Day.
Oh, we'll do another show before Valentine's Day. You don't have to send me flowers and chocolates quite yet, Dev.
Aw, you're so sweet.
Yeah, I didn't get you anything.
Yeah, I didn't get you shit either.
But I will let everybody know that for this episode, I have been Kyle.
I've been Dev.
And we have attempted to start the apocalypse. Good night, everybody.
spongy smugglers.
Dev and Kyle Start the Apocalypse is brought to you every other week with a full archive available at devandkyle.com. The Apocalypse theme and other music in the show is written and performed by Chase Noseworthy. He's Chase Noseworthy on YouTube or at NoseworthyChase on Twitter. All graphic design for Dev and Kyle Start the Apocalypse has been created by Dead Vision. Find her work on Twitter and Insta at XDADOTTER and book her immense talents at xdadotter.com. Audio engineering provided by Cassandra Umsong. She can make you sound even better than Dev and Kyle because you'll provide much better raw materials. Get in touch with her on Twitter at coffeewithcoom. That's coffee with COUM. Dev and Kyle support artists and creatives of all types. Exposure is for film. Artists need compensation. If you're interested in becoming an apocalypto to help keep supporting all of the artists who make Dev and Kyle sound passably professional, please consider becoming a sustaining patron at patreon.com/devandkyle. Show notes, transcripts, and any other information from this episode should be available at devandkyle.com if Dev and or Kyle did their job. Fingers crossed. Finally, deeply and sincerely, Dev and Kyle think that you are a wonderful person who deserves love and compassion. We hope our small gift of what we consider interesting or entertaining has made your day even the tiniest bit better. Thank you for liking or subscribing in your favorite podcast app. And if you think others may want to know about this show, consider leaving a review in that same podcast app. It really helps us spread the word. Thank you.